प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्.
An ashram should always grow out of public contribution. No one person should contribute for an ashram. Then the ashram will lose its characteristics. Always there should be a small contribution. Not big, small or big, whatever. But it should be from multiple persons, so that nobody has any ego connected to that. This is, I have contributed maximum, or I have done this, I have done that. That kind of an ego should not be there. Even those who are giving more amount also, they also should not form that kind of an ego. But he would not listen to anything at all. One day Swamiji called me. When I went to Swamiji's room, I found that the room is covered with notes. It's a full heap of notes there. Money, cash. Swamiji says he has done Abhisheka of me with cash. What is that? By selling part of the property, he got 7.5 lakhs or so. That was quite much those days. So all the money he brought in cash and did Abhisheka to. You can see what the ego and the Rajasika, Rajoguna make of a people. How much foolish one can become. Seeing that, we were shocked that what is this? And is this money to be shown in a place where there is no compound wall, no security at all? We did not have any security also. Why should we bring the cash there? It can be kept in the bank. Why should it be brought here? And is Swamiji to be done Abhisheka with all those dirty notes, which has gone through all kinds of... Don't we have even that much of purity? But Swamiji is Balavat, so he is coolly sitting there. The moment we saw, we immediately said, remove it, pack it, send it to the bank. Nothing doing. Here, these things will not do. Now, what happened is that, so 7.5 lakhs were sent to the bank. Now, during the Danasatra those days, the Danasatra also needed a lot of money. Now, we spend for Danasatra about 70 lakhs every year, or more than that. Those days, we did not have much money. It was not there. And people, whatever they used to collect, with that we were doing the Danasatra. Either it was during Danasatra or making the old age home. I don't remember now. Maybe it is for the old age home. Swamiji needed 50,000 rupees. So he had asked him to send that from that money, which is supposed to be Swamiji's money, 50,000 rupees for that old age home. He sent only 15,000, 15. And he says, he himself later on said that Swamiji wanted 50, but cleverly I made it 15. Because you can easily misunderstand 50 as 15. That means he did not want to send that. He is openly telling Swamiji also. But it is supposed to be Swamiji's money, which he had, the whole land was given to Swamiji about 10 years ago. And part of the land has been sold and 7.5 lakhs came because of the land only. Now, it was easily understood that the money has, the land and the property and the money has become his money now. It is no more Swamiji's, no more offered to Swamiji also. Now, this was told and he said, yes, it is so. When I gave, it was costing maybe a few lakhs, maybe 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs or so. Now it has become a few crores. He himself said, see the ego, how they behave, how Rajasika qualities they make. He is proud about it that now it cannot be given to Swamiji because the property price has... If we had gone for a registration, then it would have been done then. But it is the goodness of a sannyasin that we don't want, and naturally it is so. All these things were happening. The next time when we came, we found that he is operating some yoga class and center over there. And the place actually everybody is referring to as Unka Ashram, not Swamiji's Ashram and Narayana Ashram Tapavanam. That person's name was used to refer to the address became that person's ashram. And when Swamiji said that the ashram should have its own purity here, other things should not be done. That is, whatever is not commensurate with our practices should not be done here, because then the place will lose its sublimity. He said, no, why not? We are using this place only twice a year. The rest of the year it is lying vacant. I can use it for any purpose. If necessary, even Swamiji's room, Ma and Nuthan Swamiji's room also I will use for other sannyasin or other yoga masters to stay. So we understood what has happened. And many other things also in the talk, many things came, Swamiji discussed. So then Swamiji said that we cannot stay here anymore. It is no more our place also, and it won't be right to stay here anymore. Because he is not allowing anybody to do anything here. Annakshetra cannot be built. He doesn't want anybody to spend money. It is understood that it is his property. I have written about it in Great Association. Only briefly, I don't mention maybe so much. So, next morning was the Pada Puja. So, after the Pada Puja, the Swamiji said, I have something special to say. And that day itself, he announced that we are leaving the ashram because it is no more our ashram and it is going not according to our ways. So, we have to leave. If he says that you go right away, we will leave right away. If he says because the programs have already been announced in the halls and other places, if he agrees that we stay that period and hold the program and then go, all of you, whatever you said accordingly. But we are leaving either today or after 10 days or so. So that was the end of the Sainik Farm ashram for us. Now why am I saying it? Ajathavat prajanati. Rajoguna, that Rajasika Buddhi, he was a military person, he was very righteous, apparently very honest. For honesty he has left many things. But it is the Rajasika honesty. I am honest, like Yudhishthira. I am a Satyavadi. I am this, I am that. So that makes all his analysis, dharma, adharma, karya, akarya, whatever he did, is it not akarya? Is it not adharma? Everything is downright adharma and akarya. Akarya means which is not to be done. But he is doing with his ego and thinking that that is the right thing to do. That is how the Rajoguna dilutes us. Tamoguna dilutes, but Tamoguna in conjunction with Rajoguna makes us active in the deluded manner. Both are playing here. Tamoguna is producing the moha, the delusion. And in that deluded stage, whatever we are doing, that is produced by Rajoguna. So Rajoguna, Tamoguna together is involving us into deluded activity. It's an extreme example. Everything need not be like that, but in a minor manner, all of us are doing this or that. So we have to look into that. There is no point in condemning that person. It is all examples are given to look into us where in a subtle manner we are having that. So ayathavat prajanati buddhissa partha rajasi. Then adharmam dharmamiti. Adharmam dharmamiti ya manyate tamasa avrita. See, I said that the tamasa guna is deluding his, not disclosing what is dharma and what is adharma. Rather, what he did, it was absolutely adharma. But he is thinking it is the dharma. I am doing it is correct. I should use the property in my own manner, and this is the way to do it. This is the tamoguna. So it is a rajoguna tamoguna combination. Under the clutch of tamoguna, he feels the adharma also is dharma. It's a ready example before you how it operates in a good person, in a good case. Not that he was a corrupt person or anything. He's a very good person. Sarvarthan viparitamscha buddhissa partha tamasi. The tamasika buddhi is such that anything you explain, they will take it in the reverse manner. See, in minor cases, subtle cases, when the devotees come to a saint, what for they are coming, you tell me? Hey, itna time kya lag raha? Jaldi bol. Huh? No. To get purified. Knowledge से क्या होगा? Knowledge से purification आना है. The saints' purpose is to, the people come to the saint to get purified, remove their impurities. Knowledge तो अपने आप आ जाएगा impurities चला जाने से. Through the knowledge, what are we trying to do? We are trying to remove your impurities. We are not giving you the book knowledge. That is why we have to spend so much of energy, powerfully speak, so that your kalmasha, your dirt, your filth, it is brushed off, it is thrown off. So a person comes to a guru only to get rid of the impurities. But the fact is that when the guru explains, tells anybody, the disciple, that this is wrong, what you are doing, this defect you have, they completely understand it in a reverse manner. The Swamiji doesn't like me. अरे स्वामी जी तुमको पसंद करते हैं इसीलिए ना तुम्हें बोले हैं. अगर जिनको स्वामी जी के जिनके प्रति कुछ भी नहीं है, प्यार भी नहीं है, को बहुत लोग तो आते हैं, उनको तो आप बोलते नहीं हैं कि आपका क्या डिफेक्ट है. बोलते हैं हम कुछ आपको. जो नहीं आते हैं हम कुछ नहीं बोलते हैं, देखने से भी नहीं बोलते हैं. जिनको बुला के बोलते हैं मतलब he must be considering him or her to be close. That is why he is pointing out. Otherwise his duty is not to point out the fault everywhere going. He is tolerant about everything. But the person, because of his tamoguna, his buddhi or her buddhi is such that he is taking it in the reverse manner. When something is done, oh, you have thrown me out of your circle. Arey, whatever you are fit for in an ashram, your work is given according to your fitness and the necessity of the ashram. If everybody starts feeding Swamiji, will it be possible? Suppose everybody says that I would like to work in the close quarter feeding Swamiji. तो स्वामी का पेट का क्या हाल होगा फिर? It's impossible. If everybody says that I will help Swamiji in the computer work or I will help Swamiji in the writing, is it possible? Because of that, if you say that, oh, Swamiji is very preferential, some people he will take into his close quarter and some others will be kept away. So these are all sarvarthan viparitamscha buddhisa partha tamasi. These are the, everybody has all these qualities working. Where what is working we have to find out and we have to clear it. Now comes Dhruti. I think you have understood enough about this buddhi. Now comes Dhriti. I said that the buddhi, with buddhi whatever we understand, with Dhriti we hold that, retain that. Now if you want, you can write a few. You write a few things, those who have are in the book. Sattvika Dhriti. Say, make few notes, it will help you to remember. Those who have book space, you can write on the book later on. Sattvika Dhriti, it holds one to yoga buddhi. To yoga you can say, or yoga buddhi. The purpose of Sattvika Dhriti, because it is Sattva Guna, it will retain the yoga buddhi. It will tie you, it will anchor you to yoga buddhi. Holds one or anchors one to yoga buddhi. Yoga buddhi we have discussed quite a lot. What is that? When our buddhi is anchored in the soul. How will it be anchored in the soul? The soul dimension will be projected there. Whenever we are selfish, we will try to become non-selfish. Whenever we are partial, we will try to become impartial. Whenever we are having some personal view, we have to become impersonal. Whenever I am feeling affected, we have to think that I am unaffected, so try to incorporate unaffectedness. These are the way we are becoming anchored to the soul. So it is ready, don't say that it is theoretical, it's all practical. These are the ways we have to do the sadhana. So Sattvika Dhriti is one which holds us to yoga buddhi. Rajasika Dhriti, it activates us with bhoga buddhi. Yoga and bhoga. It will be easy. Just if you write down yoga, bhoga and moha, it will be easy to remember. So Rajasika Dhriti is which will activate us with the bhoga buddhi, that is to enjoy. That Rajoguna will always force us to enjoy. That means do whatever I like and I will become happy by doing it. If it is ego or it is desire, both way. That is, he would like to always become a leader, or if it is too strong, he would like to lead something that people should listen to me. These are the Rajoguna properties. That is a bhoga for them also. The ego is a bhoga there. Tamasika dhruti immerses one in delusion. That means andhakara, that is not understanding what is right, what is wrong, and what is to be done, what is not to be done. So the tamoguna will immerse us in ignorance, in moha, in delusion. So if we just remembered these three words, yoga, bhoga, moha, it is enough. Yoga for sattvaguna, bhoga for rajoguna, and moha for tamoguna. We will generally have all the three with us. Yoga, bhoga, moha. Now let us go through the shlokas. 33 onwards. Similarly in Sukha also I will give this. If I forget, you remind me. That simple short sutra. These are called sutras. Because easy to remember. While acting you should remember. It should come to your hand, come handy to you. Dhritya yaya dharayate.
धृत्या यया धारयते
मनः प्राणेन्द्रिय क्रियाः
मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः
योगेनाभ्यभिचारिण्या
योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या
धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी
धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी
धृत्या यया धारयते
धृत्या यया धारयते
मनः प्राणेन्द्रिय क्रियाः
मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः
योगेनाभ्यभिचारिण्या
योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या
धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी
धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी.
He says, by that dhriti, by which dhriti, that is dhritya, tritiya vibhakti, yaya dharayate, yaya dhritya dharayate, that means holds on. Dharayate means holds on, retains, anchors. Manah prana indriya kriyaha, manah pranendriya kriyaha, the activities of the mind, of the vital energy, prana, and the sense organs. That is, they are all activities. The mind is active, the vital energies are active, breath, and the sense organs. That all the activities with this dhriti, they will hold or anchor in what? Yogena abhyabhicharinya. Both all are tritiya vibhakti. Yogena abhyabhicharinya. Hold it to yoga. What kind of holding? Abhyabhicharinya. Vyabhichara means desultoriness. Abhyabhichari means non-desultory. That means one-pointedness. That is, sometimes in yoga and sometimes, no, today let me have bhoga enough. Tomorrow again I will have yoga. That is vyabhichari. It holds the mind, senses, and the breath, pranendriya, on to yoga in an abhyabhichari manner, in a non-desultory manner. That is not moving away from that. Such a dhriti is called sattvika dhriti. Now, why they have not mentioned buddhi? They have mentioned only mana pranendriya kriyaha. Because this dhriti is originating from the sattvika buddhi. Sattvika buddhi is giving rise to the sattvika dhriti. How will you hold the mind, indriyas and the breath? It is by the guided by the buddhi only, guided by the sattvika buddhi, the viveka buddhi. Is it clear? So, such a dhriti which is arising out of the sattvika buddhi is called the Sattvika Dhriti. So it will always tell you whatever is the pravritti, whatever is the nivritti. Tell you when I say it is the buddhi. Earlier I discussed yesterday that where lies the pravritti, where lies the nivritti, where lies karya, where lies akarya, where lies bhaya, where lies abhaya, where lies bandha, where lies moksha. That the buddhi is telling. But the buddhi has to translate or has to make into a dhruti, has to get into the dhruti. Then when the buddhi is telling that this is bandha, this is moksha, the dhruti will allow us to follow it. To persistence, have the persistence to follow it. Without the dhriti, although the buddhi is telling us, we will not follow. You get it? Only the buddhi is telling, the mind will not listen. It is the dhriti. That is why we always say that the dhriti comes out of your sadhana. That is the real sadhana. Buddhi can become enlightened, but the dhriti will not follow it. There lies the problem. That is why if you can discriminate very well, but don't follow whatever you think to be the correct, then we don't call it viveka. It is discrimination in English, all right, we accept. But in Sanskrit you cannot call it viveka. That discrimination is not viveka. Viveka means whatever you discriminate and find out to be true, you have to follow that. Then only it is viveka. That is how viveka will automatically lead you to vairagya. So, in the dhriti, our ruchi, our taste, our practices, our samskara will get mixed. You will find even in some saints also, some stealth. That stealth they are not able to get over. When we look at the foot also, we find that the stealth has gone to the physical level. Seeing the formation of the foot and the toes and all, we can understand that stealth is too much. In such cases, generally the guru will say that don't take to sannyasa, or some corrections will be given. Because when it has gone deep inside the physical features, it means it is very deep, it is almost genetic. One will find it very difficult to get over such stealth or any other such thing. It could be about sex also, about many things. Giving sannyasa, the guru has to be very careful that whether the person will be able to keep it. So certain things he has to observe. And we have found that when it is showing up in the gross physical level, however you may try, it doesn't go. It doesn't go. Simply doesn't go. But suppose your eyes are showing some impurity or the face is showing some impurity. You see that the moment you are happy, the face becomes different. The moment you are sorry or depressed, the face becomes long. Is it not so? So they are immediately responding to the emotions. That means they are flexible. So if there is a defect, suppose you are depressed or so, the face is long, we can make it cheerful because it's not gone that deep, you can do. But when the depression has gone to such a level that it has changed some gross feature of the body, that depression cannot be treated. Cannot be treated. You can give some medicine and he will be behaving more or less okay. But spiritual treatment becomes extremely difficult. And in such cases, people, they say they accept it, that stealth is there, what can be done. Sometimes he behaves with the stealth, you have to accept it. So, dhriti comes there. The dhriti, in buddhi you can understand the great philosophy if you have discrimination. But in holding to that, following that, the dhriti, it needs samskara. Samskara means the culture, how much you have cultured, how much in the family also it will depend. That is it. Some of the elements will come down to the gene. Then what have you practiced? How much of sadhana you have done? If you don't do the sadhana, just having a very intelligent, very sharp intelligence, dhriti will not come. You have to, abhyasa is necessary. That is why Krishna says that abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. How are we to hold ourselves on this path? Abhyasa and vairagya. Abhyasa is the centripetal force. Abhyasa means Either you meditate or you contemplate or you practice through analysis, whatever. These are all abhyasa. Is it not? Studying the Shastras, meditating, analyzing, doing vichara. These are all abhyasa. The most powerful abhyasa is vichara. Evaluating what I am doing and what should be done, etc. So this abhyasa is always making us anchored in ourself, in our inmost truth, inmost being. It's generating the centripetal force to our being. Is it not? Centripetal means which is bringing us back, because always in the world we are going astray. We are always running after outward. Abhyasa makes us anchored inside. And Vairagya is actually loosening the outward pull. That is the centrifugal force we are having from the world. You call it centrifugal. Why? It is taking us away from the center. All the pulls and pushes, the likes and dislikes, the raga dvesha, they are always taking us away from the anchorage. So, if you can, two things we are doing. We are generating more of centripetal force to get anchored, and we are reducing the centrifugal force by practicing Vairagya. Vairagya means having the true vision. That means not being affected by the partial vision, not getting pulled by the desires, not getting pushed by the intolerance. That will determine the Vairagya. It will become loose. So, you will not be affected by anything happening outside. The pull will not be so strong as it used to be. So, generating both the centripetal force by abhyasa and reducing the centrifugal force by Vairagya. This is how we develop the dhriti. These are the part of the abhyasa for dhriti, part of the sadhana for dhriti. Yaya tu dharma kamarthan
यातु धर्मकामार्थान्
धृत्या धारयतेऽर्जुन
धृत्या धारयतेऽर्जुन
प्रसंगेन फलाकांक्षी
प्रसंगेन फलाकांक्षी
धृतिः सा पार्थ राजसी.
धृतिः सा पार्थ राजसी.
He says yayatu dharma kamarthan. We have fourfold purushartha. Purushartha I explained the other day. That is whatever we attain by applying our self-will, self-effort. Paurusha means self-effort. Whatever we have to gain in life by applying the self-effort is called purushartha. So we have to apply our self-effort to know what is dharma, to learn what is dharma and follow the dharma. Not only know. After knowing, if you don't follow that knowledge, our country doesn't give any value. Whatever you know, you have to live. Dharma, artha, kama. That is, all these are, and the last one is moksha. These are the four purusharthas. Now, for the rajasika person, the rajasika dhriti, that moksha part is not there. Dharma, artha, kama. Dharma, kama, artha. That is, they will be having the dharmika lesson, but with the desire motivated activity, with the desire motivation to earn and to fulfill his desires. That is why earlier they have said that dharma, his analysis of dharma also will be sometimes going wrong. But it's not that he is a bad person who will be adharmic. He would like to follow the dharma, but his mind will be occupied by artha and kama. Because the moksha part is missing there. He doesn't want to get liberated, or he doesn't want to attain that state where this bondage created by the gunas are not there.